Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Dhirahi Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtakam Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we are continuing from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Canto 4, chapter number 2. Daksa cures Lord Shiva, curses Lord Shiva, and verse number 30. Prabhuji is not well today also, but by tomorrow he will cover all the things and he will join tomorrow surely. Okay.
Prabhuji, we have completed verse number 30.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We'll go to the 31st. एष एव हि लोकानां शिवः पन्थः सनातनः यं पूर्वे चानुसन्तस्थुर्यप्रमाणं जनार्दनः. Translation.
The Vedas give the eternal regulatory principles for auspicious advancement in human civilization, which have been rigidly followed in the past. The strong evidence of this principle is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is called Janardana, the well-wisher of all living entities. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna has claimed that he is the father of all living entities, regardless of form. There are 8.4 million different species of life forms, and Lord Krishna claims that he is the father of all. Because the living entities are parts and parcels of Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are all sons of the Lord, and for their benefit, because they are hovering under the impression that they can lord it over material nature, the Vedas are given to them for their guidance. Therefore, the Vedas are called Apaurisheya, for they are not written by any man or demigod, including the first living creature, Brahma. Brahma is not the creator or author of the Vedas. He is also one of the living beings in this material world. Therefore, he does not have the power to write or speak the Vedas independently. Every living entity within this material world is subject to four deficiencies. Number one, he commits mistakes. Number two, he accepts one thing for another. Third, he cheats. And fourth, he has imperfect senses. The Vedas, however, are not written by any living creature within this material world. Therefore, they are said to be apaurisheya. No one can trace out the history of the Vedas. Of course, modern human civilization has no chronological history of the world or the universe, and it cannot present actual historical facts older than 3000 years. But no one has traced out when the Vedas were written. Because they were never written by any living being within this material world, all other systems of knowledge are defective because they have been written or spoken by men or demigods who are products of this material creation. But Bhagavad Gita is a Paurisheya, for it was not spoken by any human being or any demigod of this material creation. It was spoken by Lord Krishna, who is beyond the material creation, that is accepted by such stalwart scholars as Shankaracharya, not to speak of other acharyas such as Ramanujacharya, Madhavacharya. Shankaracharya has accepted that Narayana and Krishna are transcendental. And in Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna has established Aham Sarvasya Prabho Mattaha Sarvam Pravartate. I am the origin of everything, Everything emanates from me. This material creation, including Brahma and Shiva and all the demigods, has been created by him, for everything has emanated from him. He also says that the purpose of all the Vedas is to understand him. Vedascha sarver aham eva vedya. He is the original Vedavit, or knower of the Vedas, and Vedanta Kruta, or compiler of the Vedanta. Brahma is not the compiler of the Vedas. In the beginning of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is established Tene Brahmarda, supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead instructed Brahma in the Vedic knowledge through his heart. Therefore, the evidence that Vedic knowledge is free from the defects of mistakes, illusions, cheating, and imperfections is that it is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Janardhan, and has thus been followed from time immemorial, beginning from Brahma. The Vedic religion or the principles of the Vedas have been followed by the highly cultured population of India. Since time immemorial, no one can trace out the history of Vedic religion. Therefore, it is Sanatana, and any blasphemy against the Vedas is calculated to be atheism. The Vedas are described as Setu, which means a bridge. If one wants to attain his spiritual existence, one has to cross an ocean of nescience. The Vedas are the bridge by which to cross such a great ocean. The Vedas describe how to divide the human race into 4 divisions according to quality and working capacity. This is very scientific system, and it is also Sanatana, for no one can trace out its history and it has no dissolution. No one can stop the system of Varna and Ashrama or the caste and divisions. For example, whether or not one accepts the name Brahmana, there is a class in society which is known as the intelligent class and which is interested in spiritual understanding and philosophy. Similarly, there is a class of men who are interested in administration and in ruling others. In the Vedic system, these martially spirited men are called Kshatriyas. Similarly, everywhere there is a class of men who are interested in economic development, business, industry, and money making. They are called Vaishyas. And there is another class who are neither intelligent nor martially spirited nor endowed with the capacity for economic development, but who simply can serve others. They are called Shudras or the laborer class. The system is Sanatana. It comes from time immemorial and it will continue in the same way. There is no power in the world which can stop it. Therefore, since the Sanatana Dharma system is eternal, one can elevate himself to the highest standard of spiritual life by following the Vedic principles. It is stated that formerly the sages followed this system. Therefore, to follow the Vedic system, it is to follow the standard etiquette of society. But the followers of Lord Shiva, who are drunkards, who are addicted to intoxicants and sex life, who do not bathe, and who smoke ganja, are against all human etiquette. The conclusion is that persons who rebel against the Vedic principles are themselves the evidence that the Vedas are authoritative, because by not following the Vedic principles, they become like animals. Such animalistic persons are themselves evidence of the supremacy of the Vedic regulations. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So here about Vedas is given. Vedas are Apurusha, which are not written by any human being. Only Lord has created them. And Vedas are considered as a bridge to cross over this science of nescience. This is the material creation. And here the 4 divisions of the human society is being given. That is Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and Brahmanas. So we'll go to the next verse. Text 32. Tad Brahma Paramam Shuddham Satam Vatma Sanatanam Vigarhya Yata Pashandam Daivam Vo Yatra Bhutarat. Translation.
Translation. By blaspheming the principles of the Vedas, which are pure and supreme path of the saintly persons, certainly you followers of Bhutpati Lord Shiva will descend to the standard of atheism without a doubt. Purport. Lord Shiva is described here as Bhutarat. The ghosts and those who are situated in the material mode of ignorance are called Bhutas. So, Bhutarat refers to the leader of the creatures who are in the lowest standard of the material mode of nature. Another meaning of Bhuta is anyone who has taken birth or anything which is produced. So, in that sense, Lord Shiva may be accepted as the father of this material world. Here, of course, Bhrigu Muni takes Lord Shiva as the leader of the lowest creatures. The characteristics of the lowest class of men have already been described. They do not bathe, they have long hair on their heads, and they are addicted to intoxicants. In comparison with the path followed by the followers of Bhutrat, the Vedic system is certainly excellent, for it promotes people to spiritual life as the highest eternal principle of human civilization. If one decries or blasphemes the Vedic principles, then he falls to the standard of atheism. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So we'll read one more verse and then we'll stop. Text 33. Maitreya uvacha tasaivam vadata shapam bhrugosa bhagavan bhavaha nischakrama tata kischid vimana eva sanugaha. Translation.
The sage Maitreya said, when such cursing and counter-cursing was going on between Lord Shiva's followers and the parties of Daksa and Bhrigu, Lord Shiva became very morose. Not saying anything, he left the arena of the sacrifice, followed by his disciples. Purport. Here Lord Shiva's excellent character is described. In spite of the cursing and counter-cursing between the parties of Daksha and Shiva, because he is the greatest Vaiṣṇava, he was so sober that he did not say anything. A Vaiṣṇava is always tolerant, and Lord Shiva is considered a topmost Vaiṣṇava. So his character, as shown in this scene, is excellent. He became morose because he knew that these people, both his men and Dakshas, were unnecessarily cursing and counter-cursing one another, without any interest in spiritual life. From his point of view, he did not see anyone as lower as or higher, because he is a Vaishnava. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 5.18, Pandita Samadarshina, one who is perfectly learned, does not see anyone as lesser or greater, because he sees everyone from the spiritual platform. Thus, the only alternative left to Lord Shiva was to live in order to stop his follower, Nandishwara, as well as Bhrigu Muni, from cursing and counter-cursing in that way.
Yes. So we'll conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhupada.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhupada. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.